on this computer. Boom. Let's get started. Meanwhile, I'm filling out my bracket. I'll give y'all time to get your stuff out. All right. BYU just definitely going to win that first game. Texas is going to win. I think so. I don't know if it's open to students or not. I know staff is doing one. I'm going to go with Maryland over UConn. I'm going to go with Alabama. Then I think Alabama's going to win. Texas, I've heard good things about. I'm going to go with Texas just because I think Alabama's going to lose at some point. Florida State's going to win. Michigan's going to win. And I'm going to predict an upset. Florida State's going to win. Texas is going to win. Gonzaga in the semifinals. And I don't really care who they play. Gonzaga's going to win the championship. All right, Baylor, I guess will win. You know what? Just because it's what I hope happens, Wisconsin's going to beat UNC. And then Baylor's going to win again. And then Villanova's going to win. Then Purdue's going to win. Then Purdue's going to win again. Then Baylor's going to beat them. All right, now we got Texas Tech is definitely going to beat Utah. All right, Arkansas is going to win that. Arkansas is going to win again. Florida versus Va-Tech. VT is definitely going to win that. I feel it. Ohio State's going to win. Ohio State again. Ohio State again. Ohio State again. They're going to get all the way to the Final Four. All right, Illinois. Georgia Tech's going to win. I always want to put Georgia Tech over Illinois, but I think Illinois pulls it out. Tennessee is going to win. Oklahoma State's going to win. I think Tennessee's going to pull it off. They're going to win, but Illinois is going to beat them. And then we got San Diego State over Syracuse. I think San Diego State wins. Then West Virginia's going to win. Then West Virginia's going to win again. Then we got Clemson's going to beat Rutgers. Houston's going to win. Houston's going to beat Clemson and West Virginia. Illinois versus Houston. I think Houston's just going to keep rolling. And then I think it's going to be Ohio State versus Gonzaga, and Gonzaga's going to win. If I had to put the final score, 73 to 64. No, 67. That's what I'm feeling. Scott Haddock. So, it's your stuff that was in the middle of the floor. It was your stuff in the middle of the floor. Imagine that. You're leaving now?
Oh,
Is that too early? I was about to say, I was like, y'all are. Okay. Has everyone got the notes up now at this point? If y'all don't shut up in the back of my room, we're going to have issues. You're going to be able to. I just saw you talk. Don't try to play me. Landon Ounce is joining the Zoom? Wow. How did we get this honor of Landon Ounce joining our Zoom?
What's going on, Mr. Haddock?
Hey, Landon.
I decided to join today.
I appreciate that. Oh, you're showing your face too? Wow.
What's going on?
Everybody, look. This is the first student I've ever had show his face on camera in this whole COVID situation.
I swear.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that something?
Andrew, show your face.
He's probably not. He just.
Oh, look at that.
Look at
Oh,
that.
my gosh.
2 in one day? I'm pretty sure I haven't had this.
Is Watson in there?
No.
He's the only one that joins like every day.
Yeah, he didn't join today, so I'm a little confused. I was going to tell him to turn his camera on. Wow, I'm shocked. So, is that Saturdays are for the boys?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, you need to get one in your classroom.
I don't know if that would be appropriate or not.
Why not?
You don't think so?
I don't know. Usually, it's got bad connotations with it. I think it's cool, but I just don't want to get in trouble.
You got to add to the collection.
Adios. Adios. Good luck. Good luck. Beat Newburn. Adios. Goodbye. All right. Somebody better shut my door. Thank you. I'll let you down. All right. There we go. Okay. We'll give another few seconds for Watson maybe to join. Maybe he joins. And I'm going to have to start. All right. So we'll go over the notes. Just make sure you got those out. You can fill them out however you need to. Fill out the blanks. Yada yada yada. Just had I have a kid showing his face on Zoom.
Oh my gosh.
It's the first time it's happened.
I know. This is groundbreaking.
It's shocking. All right. I'm gonna give you a reward next week, Landon. I don't know what.
I need a cookie.
I'll give you a plastic medal. I have one of those in my. All right. So we're going over financial and credit and bankruptcy law. So let's first just talk about financial law. So Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So independent agency of the federal government created by Congress in 1933, created to maintain the public's confidence in banks and encourage stable banking practices. The FDIC pays a depositor up to $250,000 per account if an insured bank fails. All right, real quick, what was going on in the 1930s that would make all these financial laws happen? No. No.
Great Depression.
Thank you. But yes, the Great Depression is what I was looking for. Yes, so that's why you're going to see all these financial laws come up right about this time, because the whole United States basically just decided, oh, we don't trust banks anymore. We're going to go take all our money out of the bank. Just one of those things. Had everybody left their money in the bank, probably the Great Depression wouldn't have been as bad, because the stock market wouldn't have crashed as bad, things like that. Things are still going downhill, but yeah, things got a lot better. What is the one thing that really got us out of the Great Depression? Good job. There you go. It created jobs for people. It was one of the main things that got us out. Yes, Franklin Roosevelt had a lot of good programs that kind of helped too. But if you ask most historians or most people who are into financial stuff, a lot of it also was World War II, because a lot of people had jobs. So Electronic Funds Transfer Act provides consumers against unauthorized electronic funds transactions, including debit and credit card purchases, ATM withdrawals, automatic bank account withdrawals. So permits consumers to challenge billing errors and have them corrected within a 60 days. Limit consumer liability on lost parts to $50 if the report is lost within 2 business days. Now, obviously, as time went on, we started having more electronic financial things. It hasn't been until recently that Mr. Haddock trusted to see his banking online, because for a while I was old-fashioned and I kept everything on paper because that's just how it was. No, I just recently did that in the past couple of years. I'm very old-fashioned. I did not like it, and I was a little still hesitant when I did it. I was kind of like, I wasn't feeling it, but it is what it is. Home equity. So the current market value of a home minus the remaining mortgage balance. So home equity line of credit allows consumers to borrow money while using their home as collateral. So if you own your home fully and you don't even have any mortgage on it, which I think you can do it when you have a little bit of a mortgage on it too, if you paid off a lot of that mortgage, you can use your home basically as an equity line, meaning you can borrow money from a bank and put your home as the collateral, that if you don't pay them back, they might take your home. A lot of people will do this when they need to do a big, renovation to their home. So they'll get a big sum of money at one time, a big lump of money, and then they'll pay it back slowly. But now, what is the bank going to get out of this if they're what is the bank? Why is the bank doing this? Why would the bank allow you to do that? What are they getting out of it?
Interest.
Interest. There you go. Yes, interest. So money is great. Yeah, you're hoping that they pay the interest. Now, the funny thing is, me and Miss Haddock have a mortgage, and every time The government gives us one of these checks, these little stimulus checks. I put it on the principal of the house, which is awesome because I'm paying off my house early. And I've already cut my mortgage. I have a 30-year mortgage, but I've already cut it down to like, I want to say like 27, 26 years. And we've only been living in the house for like a year. So, well, I guess it's been getting close to 2 years, but I've already cut it down. I might even be able to get it close to like 25. And, I've done 5 years of payments in 2 years, which will be pretty good. Because the faster I can pay that off, the better. Like, for instance, we get to refinance it in 5 years after living there. So I'm hoping by year 5, maybe I can convert that to like a 15-year mortgage. And then I've only have a 20-year mortgage instead of a 30. But, it's a lot of interesting information. We'll talk more about that as we go and how all that works. Because it's important to know, because I had no idea what I was doing when I first got the mortgage. So home equity is an asset that comes from a homeowner's interest in a home. To calculate equity, subtract any outstanding loan balance from the property's market value. Home equity can increase over time if property value increase or the loan balance is paid down. Again, so you can get a home equity line if you have a mortgage, but you've got to have paid some of that mortgage to be able to do that, because if not, and you haven't paid hardly anything on the house, then technically there's still no money in there and you're just borrowing more money on top of the money that you've already borrowed. I know that's a lot to say in one sentence, but I think it makes sense. Do y'all see what I'm saying? If you haven't paid anything down on your house, you really can't go get a home equity loan because you already owe the bank money on your home. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. I think so. Home Equity Consumer Protection Act requires creditors to disclose the conditions, rates, and terms of home equity loan plans. If creditors change the terms, the consumer has the right to refuse to open the plan and full refund of application fees. Basically, and this is how it works for any kind of loan service, any kind of like credit card, anything like that, they aren't allowed to change your rates, change policy, change anything without making sure you are aware of it and in time for you to make the changes. For instance, they can't change that you have a 3.25% interest rate to a 4.25 interest rate without acknowledging you well in advance. They also can't change, maybe you pay your bills on the 10th of every month, and then they're like, well, actually, now you're going to pay it on the 5th of every month. They can't do that unless they have let you know of those changes well in advance and in writing usually. So when the consumer receives the loan application, it must include annual percentage rate, so you got to have that rate, payment terms, miscellaneous fees, so if there's any fees that also come in there, and then information concerning variable interest rates. Right to Financial Privacy Act, so grants consumer personal financial records as records a reasonable amount of privacy from federal government searches. The act created the Fourth Amendment protection for bank records. So the Fourth Amendment obviously is your right to a warrant for search and seizure. So basically this Financial Privacy Act just kind of put banking records under that, so you'd have it there as well. And again, as I said at the beginning of the semester, and as I say throughout the semester, that's why the Bill of Rights are so important. They go all the way to now. You can, obviously when good old George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, all those guys were in a room together making these Bill of Rights, and they were talking about all these essential things you would need your rights for. They had no idea that there'd be online banking. They had no idea that banking would explode the way it was. We didn't have the first national bank until Andrew Jackson was president, or sometime in that range. So it's amazing to me sometimes that even like the Fourth Amendment came back into play in the 1900s, basically, 200 years after its creation. So, but yeah, requires government agencies to give banks and time to object to the search of consumer personal records. Basically, you have time to like, hey, no, I don't want to search that. They'd have to get a warrant to search that, for instance. The Fourth Amendment, the right of people to be secure in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath of affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. I'm sure y'all watched a movie, or you've watched like, Forensic Files, Unsolved Mysteries. I'm really into those right now on Netflix. They're actually pretty good, not gonna lie. But you can't go get a warrant until you have that probable cause. And usually a judge is going to have to become involved because you don't want just random police officers saying, you know what, I'm going to search my neighbor's house because I just want to see what they got. They're going to have to see a judge and get a warrant from them. Thrift and Bank Fraud Act. So, Comprehensive Thrift and Bank Fraud Prosecution and Taxpayer Recovery Act of 1990 increased the government's ability to combat bank fraud. So, increased the prison time and penalties for people found guilty of bank fraud. Increased FDIC's power to enforce actions against unsafe banking practices. Basically, all this is just an act that was trying to make sure that people weren't stealing money from banks who worked in banks, or people who worked in the financial district and tried to kind of get some of that money for themselves, things like that. Bank fraud, the act of obtaining credit, assets, money, funds, or securities under the custody of a financial institution through false pretense. Penalty for bank fraud or fine up to $1 million, prison term up to 30 years, or both fine and prison. So, yeah, they're pretty hefty. You would not want to get caught doing that. All right, so we're going to do credit laws and bankruptcy now. So credit basic terms. So credit report that summarizes a consumer's financial history, including number of credit cards, payments to credit cards, and number of late payments, if any. So, for instance, this is very important. And this is why it's important. And you don't have to do this, but I think it's important for everyone to get a credit card when they can. And I'm going to put a little asterisk with that in a minute. So creditors use this report to determine a credit application is credit worthy or a good credit risk. Here's the deal. When you first get out of college, if you don't have a credit card or something, you're most likely going to have no credit history. And do you think if you walk over to Phelps Chevrolet or Hastings Ford to buy a new vehicle and you have no credit history, do you think they're going to be like, sure, we'll give you a loan for a car? Do you think that's going to happen? If you go to buy a house and you go to the credit union or wherever bank you go to, and you go, yeah, I'd like to buy this apartment. Can I get a loan for that apartment? They're probably going to say no. But that's not always what goes into a credit search. There's also like what job you have, things like that. But I will say having a credit card and being very responsible with said credit card can be a really good thing. And I would say, like for y'all, once you get into driving and things like that, it's not a bad idea for y'all to have a credit card for gas, for if you really need food, or let's say you break down on the side of the road and you need to get something from O'Reilly's Auto Parts and they're going to install it for you real quick if you don't know how. Something like that. It'd be nice to have a credit card on hand. On the other hand, though, if you don't pay that credit card on time, even just the minimum payment on time, what's going to happen to your credit score? If you don't pay your credit card, what do you think happens to your credit score? Down. It's going to be bad. Do you think you can get a car or a house if your credit cards haven't been paid on time at all during life? Probably not. It's not going to go well for you. So that's where I say it's a double-edged sword. A credit card is very nice and it can help you with your credit score a little bit, but at the same time, it can be bad as well because if you don't pay it on time, you could run into an issue. So you need to be very responsible if you are going to get a credit card. Federal Trade Commission protects consumer rights to attain, use, and maintain credit by monitoring and enforcing credit laws. Fair Credit Reporting Act. So consumers have the right to receive an accurate, up-to-date credit report. Consumers have the right to know who requests and view their report over the past year, 2 years for employer request. So that being said, usually you can check your credit once a year and just kind of see what it's looking like. But if you start checking your credit too much, your credit score goes down. I've always thought it's a little ridiculous, but yes, if you check your credit score too many times, it will make your credit go down. So if credit report is incorrect, consumers have the right to file a dispute with credit report agency and the person or business that provided the credit information. Both parties must investigate the dispute. If the dispute is not resolved to the consumer's satisfaction, the consumer has the right to add explanation to the report. So basically, you can just kind of throw in a little footnote that, hey, I disputed this. I did not win that case, but, you know, I don't like this because they said this and I did this, you know, whatever it may be, whatever the case may be. Equal Credit Opportunity Act. So credit applications can only be judged on the basis of financial responsibility, not the applicant's gender, race, marital status, age, national origin, or receipt of public assistance. If credit is denied, consumers have the right to know. So again, you can't deny someone credit based off of anything like that. The funny thing is, though, insurance they can, because I'm pretty sure young males at 16 insurance is higher than females insurance. But why is that? Because it is pretty well known that guys are usually going to be a little bit more heavy-footed with the pedal. So it is what it is, you know. All right, equal credit opportunity act continued. Credit worthiness or financial responsibility should be based on factors such as income, expenses, debt, debits, and credit history. So again, your credit worthiness will depend on your income. Like if you are working at a very low income job and you try to get a $1 million house, most likely you're not going to get it. If you're working at a very high level pay job and you get just a basic house, you probably accept it for it. It just all depends on the situation. Fair Debt Collection Practices Act prohibits unfair, abusive, and deception methods of collecting debt. Applies to family, individual, and household debt derived from credit card accounts, first and second mortgages, medical care, the purchase of a vehicle, or retail financing. So restricts credit collection agencies from calling at inconvenient times to collect debt. Obviously, debt collectors cannot call you at like 1 o'clock in the morning telling third parties such as coworkers, neighbors, or employer about the debt. That seems like a weird method, but I guess it was done because they added it in there using racial slurs, insults, or profane language. Again, odd, but it must have happened for them to throw that in there. Making false accusations or representations such as using a fake name or falsely declaring to file a lawsuit. They do that though sometimes. These like telemarketers and stuff will claim to file a lawsuit. It's kind of weird. Truth in lending law. So it requires creditors to provide consumer with the terms and costs of credit, annual percentage rate, financial charge, credit limit, minimum payment amount. The same with the lending about a house. Basically, if you get a credit card, they have to inform you of a change in your rates or your limit or anything like that. Usury law sets the maximum amount of interest that can be charged for a loan. I can go ahead and tell you, this is probably one of the most important slides of all of this PowerPoint. That's one that I guarantee they will ask you a question about on, for instance, for my test or for the final exam. Speaking of the test, I need to add that into the grades. So I have not done that. The last test I did. You didn't take the test, did you? No, you didn't. Okay. Lord. All right. I don't even know if that thing's open. I think I left it open for this week. See if you can take it after we get done with this. Did everyone else take the test? No, you didn't take the test? Oh, goodness. Did you take the test? Okay. Bryce, you took the test? Last week? Probably or probably not?
I'm not gonna.
Okay. Well, you know, it is what it is. So it provides consumers with a means to dispute a billing error on an FD credit account. Law does not apply to installment loans. Consumer must notify credit in writing within 60 days from the statement date. So creditor must acknowledge consumer's letter within 30 days, and the creditor must explain the reason for the charge or fix the mistake within 90 days. So there's basically a time limit on all those things. Okay, Credit Reporting Act allows consumers to obtain a free copy of their credit report one time every 12 months from each credit reporting agency, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, all that stuff. Okay, Credit Card Act of 2009. So the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act of 2009 amends the Truth in Lending Act, so they kind of expand it. It requires creditors to notify consumers in writing of significant changes to credit terms within 45 days. Requires that credit applications under the age of 21 have a co-signer, legal guardian, parent, spouse, or person 21 or older able to repay debt of the applicant. So, yeah, basically just making sure that no one underage can get into a credit card situation and be in a bind. Requires the creditors to provide clear and simple minimum payment information. My first credit card I got at the credit union, because if you bank there, you can get a credit card there a little bit faster, and they don't need as much information because they have all your banking information. And honestly, if you don't pay it, then they'll go take it out of your savings account or whatever account has the money in it. So that's how it works there. Then just this year, actually, I applied for a Chase, Visa card, and I get like, because I was realizing I had gotten that card just so I could have a credit card and wouldn't get denied for a credit card. But I realized I was like, okay, I'm 25, going on 26, and there's all these credit cards out there that give you percent back, like cash back basically if you use the card. So I got a new credit card, and now I get like a whole lot more cash back. For instance, got it in January, and I've already earned like $100 back technically. So I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if I had been using my other credit card, I wouldn't gotten any money. So it's kind of nice that you get a little bit back. And also, it's important if y'all do end up going and getting a credit card later in life. That's more like I don't know. I feel like it's more of an adult credit card I have now. When my other one was more like a child's credit card because it was just with my bank. You need to look at what's best for you. So I use this one because it gave me 1.5% cash back on everything, and then it gave me 3% on travel, 3% on food and dining, and that was it. I looked at a Walmart credit card for a little while because it gave you 3% back on everything at Walmart, which would be kind of nice because that's where I do most of my shopping. But I decided but they didn't have it on everything, so I figured 1.5% on everything and then 3% on some things was better than just 3% at Walmart. But there's tons of different credit cards, and it's really whatever is best for you. Some people have multiples. I don't like that. That seems stressful. I like to just have I technically just have the two now. I have the one from the credit union, and I have my Chase Visa card. But it's, to each their own. If someone does a lot of traveling, there's some that like gives you a whole lot more back for like flights and things like that. So, but it just depends on what you want. Minimum payment warning: if you make only the minimum payment each period, you will pay more interest and it will take longer to pay off your balance. For example, so only the minimum payment, it'll take 21 years to pay off, and you will end up paying $5,936. How does this chart work? I always get confused with this chart. Okay, 3 years. So you save $2,483 if you just go ahead and pay it off. Yeah. So credit cards are nice in that sense, but I would say my thing that I do is as soon as I get that deal, I pay the whole thing off. I don't worry about the minimum payment thing. I don't even look at that. I don't know what my minimum payment is. Don't care. Don't even worry about it. I go and I pay off exactly what my credit card bill is at the time, and I think it works out better that way personally. Bankruptcy: so legal proceeding for a person or business unable to pay outstanding debt provides the debt with an opportunity to recover from the debt. If you watch The Office, no, you can't just yell out bankruptcy and then expect that you have gone bankrupt. So Chapter 7. Chapter 7, bankruptcy: requires debtor to liquidate non-exempt property to repay creditors. Non-exempt property includes money from bank, account, stock, and bonds. And if y'all ever declared bankruptcy for yourself, that's what you would declare. Chapter 11, bankruptcy, is a form of bankruptcy that allows businesses to create a plan to reorganize and pay off their debts over a time. Examples of reorganizing: closing stores, reducing size of workforce, stop selling certain product lines. I want to say JCPenney has filed for this. I think because they're closing stores, they're reducing their workforce, things like that. I want to say we can Google it after this because we only have like 2 more slides. But I'm pretty sure JCPenney did Chapter 11. And someone else did too. I can't remember who it was. Chapter 12, bankruptcy. So a form of bankruptcy that allows family farmers and fishing business owners to recover from debt. Repayment plan is created for the business. So this is just a specific one for farms and fishing or fisheries. Again, you don't need to know all the details of this. If you just remember that Chapter 12 is for farming and fishing, you'll be fine. If you remember that 11 is for more just like businesses and Chapter 7 is for more like individuals, then that's really all you need to remember. And then lastly, Chapter 13 is a form of bankruptcy that allows an individual to submit a plan to repay the debt in 3 to 5 years. So the main thing to remember there is 3 to 5 years. I think Chapter 7 can be done by this as well, but I have a hard time remembering it because, again, like I said, Your questions for this are not going to go into very much detail. The only questions you're really going to get for exam-wise are kind of just understanding the 3 to 5 years on 13, fishing and farming on 12, and then you've got the for more for businesses, which is closing stores, reducing size of workforce is 11, and chapter 7 is just basic bankruptcy, and you just have to liquidate everything. That's the main thing to remember there. So that's it. Let's look real quick. We'll continue this. Businesses that have filed. The first thing I said, businesses that have, and it said credit cards. Yeah, I know you're listening to me, Google. Others that have filed for bankruptcy. Yep, they still listening. Let's see. This is a list from 2020. Please tell me I'm recording. Okay, I am recording. I was about to get really upset. Okay, so Francesco's, Guitar Center, Furniture Factory Outlet, Century 21, Steinmart, which makes sense. We lost our Steinmart here in Greenville. Tailored Brands, Lord and Taylor. I don't really know this. Ascena, the paper store. I didn't know that was even a thing. RTW Retail Wins, Muji USA, Sir Law Table, Brooks Brothers, G Star Raw. I don't know what these are. Lucky Brand, GNC. I didn't know GNC had. Tuesday Morning. Dang, I used to like Tuesday Morning. I haven't gone to Tuesday Morning since they moved the. Yeah, we still have one, but it's just it moved, and I haven't gone since then. Centric Brands, JCPenney, Stage Stores, Aldo, Neiman Marcus, J. Crew, Roots USA, True Religion, Model Sporting Goods. I don't know what that is. Art Van Furniture, Blueston Brand, Pier 1, which that makes sense. We lost our Pier 1. SFP Franchise Corp. Interesting. Guitar Center. Century 21 is a clothing thing. I was thinking like the real estate. And I was like, that's kind of weird that they filed for it. Steinmart. Oh, Taylor Brands is like Men's Warehouse. Dang, Men's Warehouse. They don't like the way they look. We do somewhere. I don't know. Men's Warehouse, is it in the mall or is it next to the bridal place over near?
Yeah, it's over there by Best Buy, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. Men's Warehouse is over there by, because that's where you can get your suit for prom and stuff. Yeah, that's over there by Best Buy.
What's our plan of action on turning in these notes?
Is there not?
No, there's no submit note thing.
All right, let's real quick. I'm probably just hitting publish it. That's probably what it is. All right. Oh, I'm in the wrong class. It should be right here. No, I'm not worried about that at this point. Is this still the wrong thing? This is still the wrong thing. I'm still. Good job, Mr. Paddock. Good job. Modules. And we are on 4.01. Well done. You're all right. Where are the notes at? Well, guys, I'll create something later. You can turn them in tomorrow. I'll remind you tomorrow as well. So, thanks.
That's no good.
What now?
That's just no good.
I'm doing it right now, Lena. I'm sorry. Do it just for you. All right. Add item. Let's see. Throw this bad boy up here. And publish, edit. Worth 5 points. Online. Text-centric website you want to phone. And it will be due. When y'all want to do? Monday of next week. Sounds good. And sync it Power School. And let me go ahead and insert just so other people can get it. Yeah, this is small. And 4.01. Perfect. Go on there. And insert document. Upload document. Fill in the blank. Submit. She's there and save. There you go. Now you can upload that. Cool, cool, cool.
Awesome.
There you go. The paper store. It looks like a clothing thing. RTW Retail wins. That is New York and Company. Muji USA. I cannot tell what that. It looks like a furniture store. Sur La Table. I don't know what that is. It looks like some kind of like tier 1 thing. Brooks Brothers is clothing. G-Star Raw looks like clothing. Lucky Brand is clothing. I knew that one. GNC is obviously drug and more like medicine, like, I don't know. I guess the proteins like creatine, basically close to steroids as you can get before you get steroids. Tuesday Morning, you know that one. Centric Brands looks like clothing. Pennies. There's a sale at Pennies. Stage Stores. All those looks like clothing. A lot of these are just clothing stores, honestly. Roots is clothing. True Religion. Oh, that's jeans. That's right. I should have known that. I didn't know. I've never seen a model sporting goods. Have y'all heard that? It must be something up north or out west. Art Van Furniture. I'm going to assume that's furniture. We know what Pier 1 is. That looks SFP Franchise Corp. That honestly looks like a what's that place called? Oh no, it's greeting cards. Is Hallmark going out of business everywhere? No. It's just in Greenville. We don't have one anymore. Yeah, I don't think we do. Where's the one near Target still open? I don't even go anywhere near there. Password for the test is, I think, BLAW T3 S21. BLAW T3 S21. Yep, that's it. All right. Can I go back to what? Yes. So you're like, what do you need a slide now? That's a little late, but okay. All right. That is it. I'm going to stop the recording. I am done for the day. My people online,